Night music.
Well, Taekwon, that's very nice of you about the things you want to do to Will. However, Will is not going to be here because Will's internet is actually shit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very, very late edition of our Meat Slapping Majesty pre-show. The Meat Slapping Majesty logo, obviously created by the K. Murphy, who is celebrating or not celebrating, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Probably a good thing.
It's bittersweet.
Bittersweet, there we go. Their last full-time show, and we brought a special guest, as Fretz is very excited with 3 exclamation points, Mr. Mance Chapel, or should I dare say Mr. Delight?
It's not Monday night, but I am, of course, the Delight. And I made a statement. Oh God, it's been 2 years ago now. This is the Kings of the Rings. But I made a statement once that any show that now features me and Kay is a gift to podcast.
It is.
So this is the gift to podcast.
This is the gift of podcast featuring Ricky.
Sure,
Yes.
or as I like to call it, episode 326, The Passion of the Ucey. But
Yeah, that's good.
be it as it may. Yeah, I mean, because we did also witness a crucifixion on Saturday night at the Royal Rumble.
Oh my god.
I've watched it 4
twice.
times now.
I watched the Rumble during work because I didn't want to have anything ruined for me, and I had a genuine rewatch Saturday morning, and holy shit!
Oh yeah.
I'm not a traitor to Quan. I just am making more money and don't have time.
Well, Jaquan, that means that leaves a spot for you open to do a new show, to do a show with us. Which will have to rate NC-17, judging by how vulgar you are all the time. Be as it may, yes, folks. Will is not here, so it feels very old school. Like the last time I did a podcast with you, Mance, I think we were celebrating Mr. YLP's 300th episode or something like that.
Yes, it was my return to war after my break. It was his 300th. Yeah, no, that's been a while, 2 years almost.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Mr. YLP has actually gone on a little bit of hiatus, but he is returning actually this Saturday.
There you go. Everyone comes home.
It's very true. That's very true. Everybody does come home, and we are home. It's going to be a fun time tonight. I can feel it.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of interesting stuff. I've kind of updated, as you guys will see on the show. I've kind of updated some stuff on our presentation, so you guys are going to see the first ever video that we've ever concocted, so that'll be a fun time. We'll talk a little bit about that when that comes to be, and we're just going to have a good nostalgic time, all for Kay's last full time here. But Kay will be back.
Yeah, I'm not quitting. I'll just be here sometimes.
Yeah. Which
She's taking that Carson Kressley schedule.
we're going to go Barack
I
Lesnar.
am the Carson Kressley of Wrestle Addict Radio.
If I knew what
And
that
that's
means, I'd be
period.
like, absolutely you are.
So
I know what it
Carson
means because of them.
So on Drag Race,
How did I
judging
know?
panel.
How did I know?
So good.
So I need to educate the children.
Go ahead.
Ricky. So on the judging panel every week, RuPaul and Michelle Visage are there every week because Ru's the host. Michelle is the head judge. She's like the Michael Cole of Drag Race.
Okay.
Old reliable, has been there for fucking forever. And then on the panel, there is a rotating spot between Carson Kressley from the original Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Mm-hmm.
You have Ross Matthews, and
From
now
Juno.
we have and also T.S. Madison, who
Yeah, I
is
like
I like her. She I know her one song about weaves. That's how I know who she is. But she's a really good judge on Drag Race. So the 3 of them rotate, so they're not there every week. So that one seat is kind of rotated out by one of those judges,
Gotcha.
and then the final seat on the judging panel is a guest judge. So they've had like Ariana Grande, Janelle Monáe, Nicki Minaj, Gaga, like celebrities.
Gotcha.
So I'm Carson.
There you go.
Okay.
And you and Will can fight over who is RuPaul and who is Michelle Visage. I would like to vote for Will as Michelle Visage because she's also from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Because you know there was no way in hell I was not going to be RuPaul.
Ricky gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just facts. I would be RuPaul in this situation, and I'm more than okay with that because RuPaul is an amazing person.
I found out, and I didn't know this until like recently. So when I was a small child in the 90s, my mom's favorite song was Supermodel. And she apparently played that for me as a baby.
Speaking of songs,
So, like,
before we get
explains a
into our
lot.
show real quick, while I was totally doing work today because I work from home, I ended up watching the Amazon Prime documentary on like the history of James Bond theme songs. And it is
That's oddly specific.
well, it's wildly fascinating how many big name people have done the theme song to a James Bond movie.
Oh yeah.
It is unreal. We're talking like Tina Turner, Gladys Knight, Louis Armstrong, Billie Eilish,
Adele.
Sam Smith, Tom Jones, Duran Duran did one. Adele's is really beautiful.
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney does
Live and
one.
Let Die.
Yeah, and so it's
Fun-
really good. Limp Bizkit did
Fun
not
fact,
do
I've
one.
never-
Madonna did one as well. Sheryl Crow, Garbage did one.
Garbage did one?
Yes.
That's
What
interesting.
garbage?
Garbage.
It's gotta be a Pierce Brosnan.
It was a Pierce Brosnan. Yes, yes,
Okay.
it was a Pierce Brosnan.
I've never seen a single James Bond movie.
We need to get you cultured, Kay Murphy.
Yeah.
I found out the other night that apparently James Bond was based off of Christopher Lee.
I'm not sure about that.
I can't say yes or no. Movie Bond.
Because
is so much- Sorry. go
Because
ahead.
like Christopher Lee was like in the army and like or navy or whatever the fuck and like killed mad people and did a whole bunch of shit.
Well, I will tell you this. Fun fact about James Bond. Fun fact number one: GoldenEye is a real place. GoldenEye is a real location. That's one. Number two, Daniel Craig's Bond is probably the most book accurate of all the Bonds.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So if you're gonna watch
How many
any
books are
Bond,
there?
if you're gonna watch any Bond, watch the 5 Daniel Craig movies because that motherfucker made so much money off of those movies.
That first Casino Royale that he did is
one of my-
I think my favorite Bond.
It's
movie.
one of my favorite movies of all time. Like of all the movies I've ever seen, Casino Royale is unbelievable.
What's everyone's favorite movie like of all time?
Oh, of all time, it's Endgame.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Mary Poppins.
There you go.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Oh yeah,
Kay, I hate to tell you this, I still haven't seen the end of Mary Poppins. I've only
dude,
seen
what the fuck?
I've only seen the first half.
Get it? What are you doing?
I don't know. I it's just never. It's not like I don't have Disney Plus in my hand at all times.
I'm like, you literally have a child named after a character in
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
no, but also Mary Poppins.
Bert, that's true.
Yeah, you have a bird.
Not who he's named after, but yeah,
Yeah.
his name is Bert.
Kay, I think you
Watch
would
the
like.
film.
Kay, I think you would like Daniel Craig's James Bond.
Why?
He's a little bit of a broody mess.
Oh, love it. I watched the Batman. I watched the Edward Cullen Batman last
You
night.
mean the Robert Pattinson Batman?
Yes.
No, the Edward Cullen Batman works.
Can I just say that did something for teenage me? Holy shit.
That is also a very accurate
I loved
depiction
it.
of Batman, too, by the way.
It is. I
loved
love
it.
that one. So,
Yeah, you'll like the Daniel Craig one because he's a broody mess. He's like Kylo Ren, but blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and a lot more jacked.
Oh, my man.
And he also, unlike
me some
Kylo Ren,
Kylo.
actually mercilessly
Does something.
kills people and gets in trouble for it.
Oh my god. Speaking of Kylo Ren, I watched House of Gucci
With Adam Driver.
the other day. Yeah, it's like so weird watching him shit that's not Kylo Ren.
He's pretty good, actually.
He was very good. I liked House of Gucci. It was fine.
Yeah, he's pretty good. But yeah, okay, it's gonna be one of my goals to get you on a Bond kick.
Okay.
Specifically Daniel Craig's Bond, because one, the music's fantastic, and he's great in it. And it's a 5-movie, it's a 5-movie story, and it's really good.
My thing with Bond is I feel like I'm gonna need to, like, it's the person in me is I'm gonna have to eventually watch them all.
Well, yeah, there's like 25 of them.
Yeah. You can skip some of them.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Pick up one of each Bond, and then watch all of Daniel Craig.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
And whoever's going to be the new Bond.
Would they ever do a woman?
No, I don't think so.
Like, can James Bond be a woman?
There's been a lot of debate about that.
Yeah. If it's a code name, which is what I go by, yes, obviously. But I don't know.
Well, I remember Daniel Craig did an interview and said James Bond should not be a woman. Not because he's against, a woman spy thriller, but like make it more like James Bond is a male character. Essentially. And I forgot exactly what he said, but he was like, it should be more it should be a different character. Like James Bond shouldn't be played by. I forgot exactly what it was. I got to look up the quote. And I'm going to look it up now because this is going to bother me.
Then give me a trans man Bond.
No, I think the big hype is they're trying to get a black Bond, and Idris Elba's way too old to do it, which is a shame.
Yeah, when they first started talking about it, Idris Elba would have been great.
I remember when they were talking about Idris Elba, and like, I don't know Bond, but I know Idris Elba, and he's fantastic, and I feel like, from what the limited I understand about James Bond, I feel like Idris Elba would be perfect for it.
Mm-hmm.
But now, who would be a good black Bond now?
Okay, here's what he said. He said when he asked about whether a woman should be James Bond, Daniel Craig said the answer to that is very simple. There should simply be better parts for women and actors of color. Why should a woman play James Bond when there should be a part just as good as James Bond, but for a woman?
While I agree, I also think it's a cop-out. Like with Doctor Who, for example, Doctor Who has historically been played by a man. They finally got a woman to do it. Oh my God, Frats, I was just thinking of Michael B. Jordan as a possible Bond.
He cannot be Bond. He is not from the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that John Boyega is a better choice, though.
John Boyega.
You have to be from the wait. You have to be from the United Kingdom to play Bond.
That is correct. Yes,
it's a British character.
It's a British character, just like when J.K. Rowling was like.
Fucking know.
Just when J.K. Rowling was like, her character's going to be played by Brits.
Well, J.K. Rowling can fall in a hole.
I know, but it's the same. It's the same premise. But there,
I'm a big fan of. You mentioned Doctor Who. They did finally change to a female Doctor. The current Doctor is David Tennant again, but then they're about to go to Chudi Ngotwe, I believe is how you pronounce his name, and he's going to be fantastic. He'll be the first Black Doctor.
Yes, he is.
We can do it. I would love to see a black Bond, and I'd also love to see a woman Bond.
You know what it is? You know what it is? The fact of the matter is you never actually know if James Bond is a code name. That's the issue.
Exactly.
They never really said James Bond is a code name. You assume it's a code name, but that's never actually been put in the stone that it's a code name.
Like, again, I don't know shit about James Bond, except that he's a man in a suit who usually has a hot woman.
Bond girl.
And does espionage type things. Usually has a baller song attached to it. But I always felt like James Bond was like a title that passed down. Like when James Bond is too old to be James Bond, like someone else becomes James Bond. That's how I thought it went.
In Hollywood, yes. But in the actual lore of James Bond, we only know that his code name is 007.
It's murky.
Yeah.
I believe it's Roger Moore's George Lazenby that mentions the other guy. One of the Bonds mentions that there was a previous Bond in a throwaway joke to the camera, but then it all reset with Daniel Craig, so there's really no telling.
Yeah, it's telling, and because the only thing that we know for true is that 007. You're correct, Frets, and Taekwondo. 007 is the code name.
Yeah.
according to MI6. But the name of the person, James Bond, is up in the air. Up in the air.
I'm going to run to the bathroom.
Go run, and then we will get started. So while Kay goes to the bathroom...
Do I want another soda while I'm up?
If it's going to make you go to the bathroom again, probably not.
That's not the answer I need. Do I want a soda?
I don't...
Yes.
Sure. It's your last day.
They weren't going till they got the soda.
So, all right, I have a question for you.
Ask away.
Mance, even though you kind of already said it, is Casino Royale your favorite Daniel Craig?
Yes, but only because I haven't watched Knives Out and Glass Onion yet. I think those might be better.
I was going to say just of your Daniel Craig Bonds. Knives Out and Glass Onion are totally left field Daniel Craig. Like, you won't see it coming.
Okay.
It's a totally different genre. Knives Out is brilliant. Glass Onion is I'll tell you about Glass Onion. You're not going to like Glass Onion when you first watch it. You'll watch it again and be like, that's brilliant.
Okay. That's fair.
So,
I'm racking my brain for... I do like Cowboys and Aliens. It's not good, but I do like it.
Oh my god. I will say, I think Casino Royale is my favorite Daniel Craig Bond, although No Time to Die was poetic justice for the whole series.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think Casino Royale is the best. I think Quantum of Solace is the worst, if that...
No one likes Quantum of Solace.
Yeah. I was sitting there forever. I'm like, why am I still watching this movie?
It's a stopgap movie.
It is. I'll tell this story. And they're never going to see this, and they're divorced now, so it doesn't matter. A buddy of mine got married in college, and as everybody knows, I went to a Christian college, and he had 3 rules for the bachelor party: no alcohol, no strippers, no fun, apparently. So we had sushi, and then we went and saw Quantum of Solace. So like, man, this is a bad bachelor party.
That was your bachelor party?
No, but mine actually had alcohol. Still no strippers.
But at least you got sushi out of that one.
What did you do for your What did you do for your bachelor party, Mance?
Me and my group's party, we went out and we had a nice steak dinner, and then we went back to the house that most of us lived in college, and we got hammered. we drank like it was the end of the world.
Nice.
And that was 2 days before the wedding, and I was still not feeling great the morning of the wedding, but it
That's
happened.
brave.
Listen, you got it done when you got it done.
Yeah.
Be it as it may, it is time to start this show with a little bit of an intro from me, and then we'll get into the whole shebang-a-bang. So are we ready, kids?
Yep.
All right, we are going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2... Coming up this week on Kings of the Rings podcast, we are finally, folks, on the Cody Rhodes to WrestleMania. But before we do that, I brought in an old friend named Mance, and he's going to help us break down the passion of Ucey that was the Royal Rumble, and as well as go into a little bit of NXT since they're on the road again for the first time in a little over a year. So sit back, relax, and please, for the love of God, try not to cross Roman Reigns and hit him in the back with a steel chair again. I have a feeling for the third time he'll see it coming. But it's Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 326, The Passion of Ucey, exclusively on Wrestle Addict Radio, and it starts right now. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 326, The Passion of the Ucey. Of course, I am your host, King Ricky Rose. Unfortunately, no Will this week. Will has moved and has worse internet than Kay Murphy on a nice Sunday. So, luckily for everybody involved, Kay was able to recruit an old friend of the show, an old general manager of Wrestle Addict Radio, and dare I say, a gift to podcasters everywhere. A true delight of delight. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mance Chapel, Mr. Delight, if you're nasty. Mance, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a while since I've even done a podcast. It's been almost 18 months. So I'm getting my chops back here.
Yeah, you'll get it soon enough. And of course, for the final time on this show, we are going to have, for final full time on this show, actually, excuse me, we have Mix Murphy, the K Murphy. K, how are you feeling on this bittersweet day?
Hi, everybody. Bittersweet is definitely 1,000,000% the right word to describe this. My they them pussy is gonna miss this show, but I think we have so many great things to talk about that you guys might need a break from me after this week. Roman Reigns had handcuffs. Y'all gonna need a break from me after this
Oh
one.
my god, I you know, it's really bad when I saw the handguns that pulled out. I was like, oh god, I hope Kay's not watching.
Oh, I watched.
I bet you did.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. So before we get,
I have a lot to say about the Rumble.
yeah, I bet you do. And before we get into that,
Oh, I have news.
you have news already, Kay?
No, I have no.
Oh, you have notes. Okay, all right. Notes are good. Notes are good. Well, save
sir.
your notes for a little bit of time. Ironically, folks, as long as we've known Mance personally, as a member of Wrestle Addict Radio and even beyond that, this is Mance's first time on Kings of the Rings podcast, and so I'm happy to.
No.
Wait,
That's not true.
wait. Oh, you're talking about when you chimed in for like 100 or something like that?
Nope, sure not. But I think we should save that for just a second when we play a little game because it makes sense.
Okay, all right. So we are going to play a little game, and since this is the beginning of the Friends of a Show era, ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to announce that Mance is going to play for the first time ever, since he's ever been on the show, the first guest game, and we're going to start it just like. So, Kay Murphy, take it away.
Alrighty. So, even though Mance has apparently been on the show before, Mance has not been in the
News to
show
me.
during the HBIC era. So, how on the show were you not? Wasn't Ricky on the show when you did it, Mance?
He was. So WrestleMania weekend. New Orleans.
That show.
It was Saturday. I got there on Friday night, and I somehow, mainly because the Enterprise place screwed up my rental car, ended up with a minivan
Yeah,
that
you
weekend.
did.
I ended up with the party van for that weekend, and at that time, I wasn't drinking. So on Saturday morning, after I met Stone Cold Steve Austin, which was awesome, I ended up hauling Ant's hungover ass around New Orleans all day.
Yes, you did.
And one of the stops was the Kings of the Rings WrestleMania prediction show. Ant was going to be on it. I wasn't going to be on it. And then I ended up on it. And I have been on the show before. And the rest is history.
Yeah, but that show wasn't recorded in lore. That was a live stream, so that doesn't really count in my book. Just saying. But I get it. You were there. Mance was, and I do remember this now. This is back when, I had money and lived with my parents, hence I had money. And we were balling out. We had a 2-floor, essentially loft apartment that myself, Will, and Dave were staying in at the time.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I was
open
staying
concept.
in a hostel.
Yeah, I was not.
I had no money.
I was not. So what we ended up trying to do is I had this idea. It's like, let's bring all these people together to do a live from New Orleans. So I hit up Ant. Ant was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Because we had just met Ant at the Royal Rumble earlier that year. And we were trying to get Antisocial Kim, who literally was true to the name of being antisocial and didn't go on the show.
She just wouldn't go on the show.
And we also wanted to get Issa, but Issa actually missed that WrestleMania because Issa got sick. Issa, aka NYC Demon Diva, so Issa was never appeared on the show for that instance. Issa has been on one of our shows before, the Evolution pay-per-view event. She was part of that month that we had all female wrestling podcasters on, and so Mance substituted in, It was a great time. Half of us were
It was.
hungover, but we did it.
I wasn't, but
The rest of us
that
were.
that was a good time.
I think for Mania 40 we should do a live show in Philly.
Potentially.
I already talked to Dylan because Dylan lived in Philly for like 10 years.
Mhm.
So like they already like we should include them in like the planning process because they'll know where to stay and where not to stay.
I was just gonna say in the neighborhood. To be
'Cause it's
honest
gonna
with
be
you,
a
I love
mess.
that place.
The neighborhood would be fun.
Yeah. But we'll see. All right,
We should get
K
a-
Murphy.
like a-
Next question.
All right. So I actually didn't ask any questions, but so our first question: what got you into wrestling? Like, when did you start watching? What
I
sparked your interest?
started watching, to the best of my knowledge, the Monday Nitro before Starrcade 1997, the go-home show to Hogan and Sting.
Wildly specific.
Because my dad called me in the room, and I caught the last 10 minutes of the show, and it was a stare down between Sting and Hogan. And the next time we watched it is when Sting had the title, but they took the title from him. I just remember J.J. Dillon coming up to him and taking the title, and Sting was looking at him, was like, "You're gutless," and he turned to Hogan, "You're a dead man." I was like, "All right, this is my personality for the rest of time," so we are here. So that's what 26 years ago now.
Ooh,
Wow, more than 2/3 of my life.
good.
You want to know what made me feel old today? Before we get into the next question, I'm rewatching that '70s show, and season 1 is 25 years old,
Wow.
Mhm.
Ooh.
and I don't like how I feel about it.
You shouldn't. Next question.
Next question: How did you find Kings of the Rings podcast?
I drove Ant's hungover ass around all day.
See, we answered that question.
Well,
And we have a pretty epic picture. I will say that is one of my favorite pictures that I've ever taken with people.
5 of us, different world title belts,
Different poses.
I
I-
like that picture.
different poses. Kate, just for you, just a year before I'd even meet you, I have the big gold, and I am doing the Bill Goldberg 2 hands straight up in the air because
Hell
they handed me
yeah.
that belt, and that's what my brain did.
I love that for you. Alrighty. Mance, who is your all-time favorite wrestler?
This is a hard question. I can narrow it down to 2. My all-time favorite wrestlers is either Stone Cold Steve Austin or Sting.
Yeah.
And every time Sting wrestles, Stone Cold gets a little farther ahead. And it's not that I dislike Sting. I worry that he's
Grandpa.
going to die. He's going to jump off something, and then the next morning we're going to hear Sting died. It's like, well, yeah, of course Sting died. He fell off a building.
Yeah, you
Are
did.
you sure it's not Goldberg?
It's not Goldberg.
You
No.
sure?
I'm fairly sure.
Stop poking the
All
bear.
right. Well, hopefully the answer to this question is Goldberg. Who is your current favorite wrestler?
He's not wrestling right now, Kay.
He
not
still
under,
exists.
he's not under
He's
contract.
not under contract. He can't answer Goldberg
He's
for
not
that
current.
question.
Probably Bryan Danielson. And that's been the same answer for 10 years at this point. However, I'm getting really into Sami Zayn as of the last few months. And I just went back and watched Ladder War from ROH's Man Up. It was Generico and Steen versus the Briscoes. He was great then. He's great now. But Sammy, Bryan Danielson, I love Danhausen, not so much as a wrestler. Just every time he appears, I'm like, oh, that's fun.
I love him. He posted the other day, like he's been posting the fucking picture of him with a guitar, and fucking CM Punk posted that picture with "This Fire Burns." I was just like, this is rude. This hurts me.
I saw one today. Sami Zayn posted a picture of him throwing out all his Ucey gear, a lot of pictures and frames and whatnot. And Danhausen retweeted it and said, Danhausen will be searching your garbage for new wall art. Perfect. That's what I want.
Very nice.
Alrighty, Mance, if you were a wrestler, what would your finisher be?
I like submission holds. So as much as my gut says, oh, you go with the Stone Cold Stunner, I think for the actual proper finisher, I'm probably going to use the Scorpion Deathlock or the Half Nelson Chicken Wing. And it's something I've always, in college, the wrestling friends that I made, we would just attack each other. And if I got the chance, I would always like somebody in that half Nelson chicken wing. And it's a weirdly specific one, but I think it's be the one I grabbed every time.
Gotcha.
I think that's great.
Question for you, man.
Right,
Question before we continue. All right.
Okay.
You specifically said Scorpion Deathlock. You didn't.
Yes, I sure did.
You did not say Sharpshooter. Why is that?
You're correct. Well, as I mentioned, Sting. But if you look back at the timeline, the Scorpion Deathlock came before the Sharpshooter. Ooh. It's the name of the move.
Ooh. Ooh, that is going to be an interesting discussion that we don't have time for today. But I'm going to have to look into that.
You go right ahead. I'm fairly certain I'm right, but I'm fairly certain I'm right about most things, and half the time, See, right there.
We'll see. Ricky Choshu did the Sharpshooter first, but...
See, I might be wrong.
WrestleMania seems in Canadian. Very nice, friends.
Friends, just so as long as you're seething, I want to repeat this. Sean is better than Brett. Let's move on.
All right.
Continue.
Nancy, this might be the most important question I've ever asked you in our entire friendship. So I want you to think
this is going to be a big one then.
Yes, it is.
And hard about this answer.
You better.
And I need you to think with your gut. Just use instinct. Don't think about it.
Use your heart, not your head.
Are you team Slack or are you team fuck you Slack?
Well, the answer to this actually came to me today, as coincidence would have it. I was on the Twitter again. That's where I spend half my time. It's a horrible place.
Yes, it is.
But I believe Slack said something along the lines of WWE shouldn't have planned so far ahead with the Uso storyline because now they have this hot match that they can't use. And so that's wrong. I want long-term story planning, and that's great. Have they dropped the ball? Maybe. But in all honesty, it just ends up with me having to be on team fuck you.
Yes! Yes. That is the only correct answer, by the way. Don't listen to Will, whatever he's told you.
It's told me nothing.
Good. Very, very good.
I stopped listening to Will when he lost me the rate with Aunt Gala 4 years ago.
I think Will's internet went out, so we could get the correct answer to Team Fuck You Slack.
Also, just to everybody's aware, Will's fun fact is that he's still not invited to the cookout. Anywho, moving on. With that, thank you for playing the first guest game, Mance, on an official show that you are now on. But let's move on to some other things happening in the world of wrestling. For instance, 24 hours after our last show, WWE released their name, image, and likeness class, the NIL class, where they are actively recruiting college athletes to learn about WWE, their social media marketing skills, and potentially recruit them to be on-screen talent somewhere down the future. This is the third year that this is happening. Gable Stevenson is part of the NIL class, and a couple of other people. A lot of prominent people on in NXT these days are coming from the NIL class, or they're working their way up the ranks. And rather than us kind of telling you about this NIL class, I figured it was better if we just show you who they are. Because we're going to pull up a video for the first time ever and give you guys an actual first look at this year's NIL class for WWE. So here we go. We're going to put this up right now. And there it is. Go full screen and listen in. You guys on the show might not be able to hear, but you'll hear it on the playback. But it is going to be closed captions so you guys can read it too. So, anywho, here we go.
We got next. We ready to flex. We're ready to rock. Headed to the top. We got next.
Introducing members of WWE Next in Line, Class 3. A 6'5", 230-pound running back for the Kentucky Wildcats, D. Beckwith. 6'2", 290-pound junior defensive end from Rutgers University, Isaiah Iton. Two-time Horizon League Conference champion, Youngstown State basketball star, Maddie Olbach. A redshirt senior softball star for the Georgia Bulldogs, Jaden Fields. Outstanding 6'8" and 320 pounds. Redshirt junior offensive lineman for the Cincinnati Bearcats, Cameron Jones.
Get one.
Two-time NCAA All-American heavyweight wrestler, Penn State Nittany Lion, Greg Kirkleet. A 6'7", 275-pound sophomore defensive end from the University of Arkansas, Landon Jackson. Four-time indoor and outdoor all Big 12 sprinter from Oklahoma State University, Tori Ortiz. A senior tennis star at Mary Washington University, Alexandra Jaksic. A six-time Portuguese national champion, sophomore thrower at the University of Pittsburgh, Otanil Badjana. A 6'4", 315-pound offensive lineman for the Penn State Nittany Lions, Nick Dawkins.
Yeah.
A graduate student soccer star at the University of South Alabama, Abby Jacobs. Two-time NAIA national champion wrestler from Life University, Peyton Pression. A six-time NCAA All-American and four-time NCAA national champion thrower from Arizona State University, Turner Washington.
Are you 6-time All-American?
Two-time NCAA All-American hurdler
That's
for
a
the
good question.
LSU Tigers,
Multiple sports, right?
Aaliyah Armstrong. Introducing members of WWE Next in Line, Class 3.
So yeah, folks, that is the next in line participants. Mance, what are your first thoughts on that?
There's some potential there. Otanil Badjana, the Portuguese national champion.
Yeah.
He's got that look. He's got that size. I think he's got a great chance there. Only one of those names that I've actually recognized, and that's Dee Beckwith. He was a player for University of Kentucky football team.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky's a basketball school.
Yes, it is.
But the last couple of years, the team has been less than terrible.
Don't remind me.
And he's been a part of that team. If he can transition that well into wrestling, go for it. I can't speak to him personally as a player, though.
Very true. K. Murphy, what are your thoughts on this NIL class?
So I don't know shit about college sports, so I can't speak to how good any of them are. But based on like their look and marketability, I feel like a lot of them have what WWE is going for.
Mm-hmm. They are.
So
Listen, overall,
got a lot of pretty folks.
yeah, overall NIL is going to be good for these athletes and for these people as human beings. They're going to get a one-up, from one of the best marketing companies in the world. It's just known as World Wrestling Entertainment. They know how to market themselves. If you don't believe me, look at all of their followings on social media. It's absolutely absurd. And WWE's not just recruiting any old athletes, they're recruiting successful athletes. Okay, they're recruiting successful athletes. In a lot of their classes, they're recruiting a lot of female athletes, which is something that I've noticed, and they're recruiting a fair amount of people of color as well. They are really diversifying their pool. And the cool thing about athletes, not the cool thing, but the reason I think they're choosing a lot of these athletes that are successful athletes as well, if you look at WWE's way of how they train people, they want to find people that are naturally athletic, which most of these people are, and that know how to take commands. Mm-hmm. They're already used to being coached. And what WWE looks for when they're recruiting people, because a lot of their coaches have said it, they have to be coachable.
By grabbing them at this stage and building them as wrestlers from the ground up, they eliminate, let's not call it a bad thing, but that indiness.
Yes.
That they build WWE superstars. They may not build indie darlings. They may not build Tokyo Dome wrestlers, but they're going to build what they want, and that's great for those wrestlers as long as they stay in that system.
Mm-hmm.
The chances that all of them are going to stay in that system, but those that do will have the skills they need to go forward. There's a lot of kids in that. I call them kids. They're younger than I am. There's a lot of kids in that NXT program right now who are just getting on TV. They're college athletes. But they're doing exactly what WWE wants, and they're going to be great. Now, that could change on a dime what WWE wants, but right now, they're in good shape.
Yeah, I think they're in a very good place with it as well. And also, like, you have WWE as like your partner. Like, I recently read an article about the Cavender twins, like these social media darlings that play basketball for the University of Miami. They are part of the NIL program. I think they're class 2. They were part of an exclusive SummerSlam party where they ran into all the different superstars, all the belt they exchanged numbers with Liv Morgan. I think the Bella twins were
Oh,
there.
wow.
Dwight Howard was there as well, which is pretty crazy. So it's not like, they're like, just mooching off of like, oh, I'm part of a WWE brand. WWE is actually taking care of these individuals. And what they're also doing is kind of planting that seed in their head of like, hey, look, we just filled out a football stadium. Do you want to do this in the future too?
That's very
Here's
true.
a bunch of celebrities that are just like you. It's very clever. But I do like it. I like the diversity of the classes, and we'll see where these people go from here. But that's the NIL class this year for WWE, because they also have been actively going to campuses and recruiting, because that's what Big E was doing since he's been out with the neck injury as well. But moving forward, let's go back to, again, last Saturday, the Royal Rumble.
Oof.
What an event. What an event. I mean, there have been Royal Rumbles that was a great Royal Rumble, but just the Royal Rumble hit a bunch of its mark. There's some things that were misses, like 2 matches in between, but the main stories were fantastic, and it showed. First and foremost, the Royal Rumble this year was a huge history-making Rumble. Here are some of the facts that WWE posted. It was the largest audience in the Royal Rumble history at like 54,000 people plus.
That's surprising.
It's not. The Royal Rumble is usually not a stadium event. It just became a stadium event in the last couple of years. It broke the all-time gate record for the Rumble with a record $7.7 plus million. That's before the show even started. Okay.
Huge.
Yeah. The sponsorship revenue was up nearly 200% versus the record that was set the last year in 2022. So you have gate money, you have sponsorship revenue that was blasted up 200%. They've made tons already. Merchandise sales were up 135% versus the record that was set the previous year. And last but not least, speaking of marketing, their social media was 200 plus video views across all platforms of videos related to this year's Royal Rumble. Absolutely absurd.
It is ridiculous how well this one did if you look back to a year ago.
Yeah.
I was in the building last year for Royal Rumble. It was in the building. It was fun, but that building was not full. There were rows at the top. I mean, not just 1 or 2. There were rows empty. They didn't sell out the arena there in St. Louis. The feel is bigger. The people were more excited. They were telling stories that made sense. And those views because look at the end of Roman's match this year versus the end of Roman's match last year.
Yeah.
He cheated to beat Seth last year. He killed 2 men this year, essentially. Brock Lesnar did not win the Royal Rumble this year.
Yeah.
People want to see that. They actually set great stuff up for Mania, which they did not. They're what a difference a year makes.
No, literally.
I had low expectations for this show based off last year's show, which I should not have. I'm not. Aside from the pitch black match, I got pretty much everything I wanted, and if they will roll like this all the way through till April, it's gonna be a good quarter for the WWE.
Listen, they're off to a hot start, and I thought we were going to kick off this Royal Rumble recap talking about the Royal Rumble matches, but then we witnessed a murder during the main event. Folks, there was a match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens for the Undisputed Universal World Heavyweight Championship, whatever. It's a match. It happens. That's all I can tell you. It's a match. It happened. There was one really vicious spot, which I'm like, KO, why are you doing this to yourself? Whatever. It was just foreshadowing of things to come. And what came after that was one of the most vicious beatdowns I have ever seen a wrestler take in front of a live audience. For me, I will say this for me, I felt, and it's nothing that WWE's fault did, it is just it was just coincidence and really a little bit triggering based on real life events of someone getting beat down and that being televised, like the day prior. I also realized that like there is
True.
nothing WWE could do about that, and they weren't going to scrap it. So it was a little bit triggering because I was like, oh, this is dragging. I was like, oh, this is uncomfortable, but I realized what it was uncomfortable for. And then the unthinkable happened. Sami Zayn saved Kevin at the last minute in a very Shield-esque betrayal of Roman. He even fell the same way.
I would say Roman took the exact same posture as he falls to the ground. I mean, it because he hit him and he fell. I was like, Roman knows this spot so well, and your thought is, okay, now Sami's got two choices. He can hit everybody else in the ring with the chair, or he can take the beating that's coming, and the beating came. I want to point out, Roman had just wrestled a 20-minute match and shook off that chair shot in 90 seconds. They've made this man into a monster. And before we go into that, I don't want to make light of the match. Roman and Kevin Owens have a great match every time they come together. That's not what this was about. This was about the post-show. I don't remember anything that happened in the match except for Sami saying, "You told me not to do anything. Do you really want a chair?" And he really wanted a chair. But we get to this beatdown, and Sami, he hits Roman, and you just wait for it. And Jimmy and Solo jump on him, and Roman gets up. And then there's this beautiful moment that I realized Jay hasn't thrown a punch. And that's storytelling, because Jay's the one who didn't believe in Sami. And Sami did everything in his power. He got Jay to believe in him. Jay Uso saw Sami Zayn as an Uso. You hear Jimmy yelling, "That's your brother? I'm your brother." And Jay can't bring himself. He cannot bring himself to hit Sami. And Jay, who, if you think all the way back to the start of this, that Hell in a Cell match against Roman, he wasn't on board for the Tribal Chief at the beginning. He got on board, but it's always been tentative. He was kind of disagreeing with Roman about Sami. He finally got on board there, and then when the time came, he's not going to follow this man. Or
Well,
so
I mean,
it seems at this point.
Do you fucking blame him for not trusting when Jay knew the bloodline was fucked from the beginning and he only pretty much fell in line to avoid getting his fucking ass beat? Sami Zayn comes in and is on board with all the fucked up shit Roman is doing from the jump. So I don't blame Jay for feeling distrustful of Sami. Like, how could you, in good conscience, go along with somebody that does these fucked up things?
That's very true. And also, I see Jay seeing Roman turning on Sami, who just weeks before he trusted. Now he's leaving him in a pile, and Jay's got to be thinking, what would he do to me? And so Jay's out. He's officially resigned from the bloodline, I think.
Yes, well, we'll get to that. He was scripted, but I do want to answer both of your points as the somewhat low key resident mental health worker in here. We always talking about a lot of pundits talk about wrestling psychology. This is not wrestling. This is full on a psychological study of trauma, not any specific trauma, of family trauma. Okay, this is a family trauma story that is unfolding in front of you. I've had secondhand observations of family trauma and what it can do to an individual. Jay fell in line because he needed to do that to survive, and deep down inside, he wants the recognition of his family, but also deep down inside, he knows what's going on is fucked up, and there's no way out of it. You know, and what Jay is witnessing in this moment is he is deeply conflicted on what to do. Sami Zayn gained the trust and the adoration of Jay through his loyalty to the family, although the family's fucked up. But now Sammy just betrayed the family, but Jay is also now really close to Sammy. So what do? Do you go with your friend who you learned to love, or do you stay with your family, who you know is going to continually abuse you if you never fall in line? It's brilliant. It's sad. It's very sad because, like I said, I've seen secondhand observations of this happening to people that I deeply care about. And you gotta kind of feel for Jay. And as Mr. Fred said in the chat, Jay might be the actual protagonist here out of the entire storyline.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely was at the beginning.
You know, so it seems to be that he would be the protagonist in the end. And speaking of in the end, Jay the next day did post a tweet of him, and it said, "I'm out," with a little blood drop tear mark.
Womp.
I don't believe it.
We'll find out on SmackDown. What's your theory, Kay?
I feel like, because obviously I don't think they're gonna do Roman and Sammy at one night of Mania and Roman and Cody another night.
That is not happening.
I've seen that's stupid. I've seen sorry, I'm getting over a cold. I've seen so much of that conversation on Twitter being like, oh, it's gonna be Roman and Sammy, Roman and Cody. No, we don't need two Roman Reigns main events. That's excessive. Yes, that's exactly what I was coming in to say. I think that KO and Sammy are going to get back together. And I think while Jay is currently not aligned with the bloodline now, I think he's going to cost, assuming they do Roman and Sammy at Elimination Chamber, Jay is costing Sammy that match. And then it'll be probably KO and Sammy versus the Usos for the tag titles at Mania.
I think you might be onto something there. I will say this, and this is a spoiler, but we all know who won the Rumble. Sami Zayn, as great as he has been, is just a supporting character in the bigger story that WWE is planting right now. They made it blatantly obvious, especially on Who Started Off Monday, and the amount of shirts that he has on the shop. My God, he has
There's so many.
He has 5 different designs on the shop, and it started on Saturday. It's absurd. Sami Zayn is a supporting character to the Cody Rhodes storyline. I hate to say it.
Sammy got one new
I hate to say it, but it is. That is the bigger, grander story here. Sami Zayn started the fall of the bloodline, and Cody Rhodes, it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler alert, Cody Rhodes will end the bloodline storyline on WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Sammy began it, Cody is going to finish it, if all goes according to plan, knock on wood. But be that as it may, Sammy's brilliant, man. Sammy's brilliant.
So good. This is Sami Zayn. This is a guy that, a year ago was a conspiracy theorist.
I love conspiracy theorists, Sammy.
He was making that work. I'm not saying that was bad. But then he got brought in as a part-time Uso or a probationary Uso or temporary Uso, and he has made this storyline into something people want to see. And that pop when Sammy hit Roman Reigns, it distorted the microphones in the building. That was so loud. What's the last time that anything was that loud?
Edge.
That was like an Attitude Era pop.
Yeah.
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I'm going to say Edge, but that's just
not
me.
in this company.
Modern day, I would say Edge and Hardy Boy return at Mania.
Yeah.
34.
That was
34.
2 years ago. So it's been 2 years since anything's made that sound. And if you went to a different company, you've got Punks popping up in AEW the first night.
Yeah.
It takes something massive, a return, a re-debut after a decade, or the logical step in your storyline. They can still do this, and they did. And granted, you have to have a Sami Zayn to do it, but they did. And I disagree with you, okay? I until Cody came out and said, I'm challenging for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship, or however they phrase it, I didn't see a way you couldn't do Sammy and Roman one night and Cody and Roman another. But they're not doing it. And unlike some wrestling fans, I'm just going to accept that, and we're going to enjoy the show. But I think they could have done some beautiful stuff. And even if Roman beat Sammy, which was the plan that I had for it, you could have done both matches, and Sammy got his moment. And granted, it's exactly what happened with Cesaro, so it's a repeat of a storyline. But I would have loved to see that match, and Roman continue to be the Universal Champion onwards. If you can wait for the next guy, if it is Rock, it's not Rock. But have Cody take the WWE title, and so you have a champion on Raw that has a belt and can defend it more often. But they're not doing it. They're doing Cody for both belts, for the whole shebang. Okay, let's go for it.
Yeah, I think
maybe if Cody takes both belts, they want to put some. I feel like they might want to put something on Roman quickly. So whenever Roman decides to go in for his, guaranteed rematch, he could win a title back or something.
Here's the thing. I think when Roman does do a job from whoever, we're assuming it's Cody. And I say we're assuming it's Cody. A lot can happen in the next 50-some-odd days into WrestleMania. And some of those things being also the deals to the rights to media contracts in WWE, which plays a role in why the fact that Roman has both belts and on both networks. More so SmackDown than Raw, but still he makes appearances. A lot of that can change the landscape of WWE, as it should, because media. But we are also assuming that Cody's the guy here. I think Cody's the guy.
Or what if, at Elimination Chamber, I could see them doing Sammy versus Roman for the titles,
Which
right?
is unconfirmed, by the way. That is not confirmed just yet.
I know. But let's say Sammy gets the hometown win. It's in Montreal.
That's not going to happen.
It would be
Not a
no. Where Roman can get it back night one of Mania, and then Cody takes whoever wins, aka Roman.
In my opinion, the worst thing you can do right now is hot potato titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roman's way too strong, and he's known as the guy with both belts. You do not take that off of him right now. I do say Sam is going to get... All right, here's the thing. If we thought the Royal Rumble beatdown was bad, can you imagine what Roman might do to him in his hometown in Montreal? This would be heel on another level. I'm talking like the artist formerly known as Sasha Banks stealing a kid's headband during a match, heel level. Okay? Like, you can only rev it up from here.
Yeah.
I got a sneaking suspicion. We got a Canadian hometown hero, a world title match in Montreal. I got something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I could just, and granted, Sammy didn't have a well-known submission hold. I could just see Roman stealing this. I mean, Sammy gives him everything he can, but Roman steals it. Just at the very end.
Yeah.
It feels like a cop-out to do Sammy and Roman early, but you got to do it.
It's Montreal. There's not going to be a bigger pop for Sammy than in Montreal.
No. There's the issue, can Jey Uso or can the Usos come into Canada now? They couldn't before. That's how Sammy got into this mess.
Why couldn't they come to Canada again?
Issues.
Oh.
we'll say issues.
Yeah, issues. We'll go with that.
Yeah, there'll be issues. And the last thing I want to say about this was that did anybody notice what happened at the end? Obviously, they were both laid out at the end of this, and Roman started taking the petals off a flower. They looked like carnations. I thought they were roses. Wasn't sure exactly what flower it was on the leg.
He was doing like he loves me not kind of thing, ripping the petals.
Yeah, but
throwing them onto
they
Sammy.
were red. It kind of looked like a crime scene. It looked like I said a crucifixion, because this story that that's showing out here is a passion story.
Passion of the Christ?
It's like Passion of the Christ, kind of. Not with all the biblical stuff and the magic, but still,
sure,
there is a total annihilation. I don't mean passion story, but this is a story about, love and somewhat obedience. And for the first time in a while, we got an F you Roman chant.
It was fabulous.
We haven't seen that since he wrongfully took out The Undertaker. I was part of that crowd.
Oh,
And
I
and
loved
he
it.
and he couldn't help but I mean, when you got 50,000 people yelling at you, he looked around, and I don't know if you've seen there's fan footage. McAfee is stunned at
I
this
saw the McAfee footage, yeah.
the volume and the veracity of 50,000 people shouting "fuck you, Roman" over and over, and it's just they've done something here.
Yeah, it
It's
almost
the best thing
yeah,
they've done
it's
in a while.
for a second, if Sammy was if Sammy was a sniveling heel, I mean he's become a beloved heel, almost on the level of Roman. Roman's a beloved heel for all the crazy stuff he's done. Roman was a beloved heel, but now Roman's a hated heel. This almost became a double turn, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, one of the hardest things to do in wrestling is to switch favoritism of a crowd in an instant. But they almost got it done. They sure as hell switched Roman to being hated again, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But let's move on because I can talk about this all day, and I love this storyline. This just keeps better and better. Someone should write this down. Whoever is actually writing for this should probably direct the next series of Marvel movies. That's all I'm saying.
I like. Can pay-per-views or like premium live events or whatever, can that be nominated for like an Emmy?
I don't believe so.
Actually, technically, yes.
I don't know.
Because that needs like recognition beyond wrestling,
I mean, I know they submitted
beyond sports. I would say.
so.
Yeah, it better win an ESPY. I don't know. We'll see. Let's move over to the Men's Rumble. And before the Men's Rumble even started, which kicked off the show, Pat McAfee returned. Which was a crazy thing to start off the show with. But Pat McAfee's living his best life in the past couple of years. And I will say this before you get going, K. Murphy. I love this trio of Cole, Corey, and Pat. I thought they were brilliant.
I selfishly was only upset that to commentary because he was on my Instagram. The fucking funniest commentary I think I've ever heard in my life.
Very, very true.
At the Rumble.
Say that again, Kay, because we lost you for a little bit.
I said that Pat McAfee had some of the funniest commentary I think I've ever heard. Like when, like during the low blow, he was like, he got hit in the sack, or I haven't been here in a really long time. What should I say? And then Michael Cole goes, the lower extremities.
I mean, Pat McAfee also got away with saying the cock instead of peacock.
He did say the cock.
The cock. Like, okay.
He did say the cock, but I will tell you this, Mance. Corey Graves channeled Bobby Heenan for one Royal Rumble, and it was brilliant.
I normally don't like a three-man booth. Ironically, I don't care for that. But when you have that big of a heel announcer and you have that big of a face announcer, that usually drives me crazy. And these three, not so much. And even Michael Cole, who I don't care for. He's amazing at his job, but Michael Cole controlled by Vince is no good. Michael Cole took shots at Vince McMahon all night. If you pay attention, and that gives me hope that maybe Vince isn't actually here. But these three together, and that's a great comparison. That is, I mean, it was Heenan and Tenay levels of together and just making each other crazy. And I dig that. Now, give me Tony Schiavone with these guys. We're good to go.
It was absolutely fantastic. Just great. And here's what I loved. I think they deliberately ribbed Michael Cole and did not tell him Pat was showing up. They didn't tell either of them. That felt like a genuine reaction from Michael Cole.
No, it was confirmed. They didn't tell Corey or Michael Cole that Pat were coming back. It was a genuine surprise.
Well, I will tell you this.
So those were both real reactions.
Tell you this. Corey Graves stayed in character beautifully then.
Yeah. Michael Cole's completely genuine, and Corey Graves plays an amazing upset heel announcer.
Yeah.
So
it was probably my favorite time I've ever listened to Corey Graves on commentary. He's had some gems, but for some reason, the Royal Rumble night, he was unbelievable. He was on another level. Moving into the Men's Rumble, it actually wasn't that star-studded with surprises, which shows you the strength of the men's roster, that they didn't bring in many people from outside of the company because everybody in that men's Rumble were already signed superstars, including Logan Paul and Ricochet, who decided to try to kill each other in the middle of the match.
Punk and Kofi did that first.
Yeah, but I hate how good Logan Paul
We all
is
do.
at this.
We all do.
Me too.
Great. He's had, what, 4 matches in his career?
One of them
Now-
was a main event with Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Okay. You know who else had 4 matches in their wrestling career?
You.
Me. I am not that good. I have never been that good. And I hate that I love to see him do. And it's going to be Seth and Logan. And he eliminated Seth. It's going to be Seth and Logan at Mania. I'm thrilled. It's going to be great. I hate Logan Paul. I hate him.
But he's damn good at what he does. I honestly didn't think he was going to be back this soon, because from what I recalled, after his match with
leg
Roman,
came off.
yeah, he pretty much tore his leg up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was exaggerating.
I guess I guess so.
I really thought the celebrity return was going to be Bad Bunny. So I'm so disappointed.
Just want
You
Bad
just
Bunny
want
every
Bad
year.
Bunny. Just buy the new 2K game. You can get him as a
Yeah.
pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, listen, Logan Paul, like you said, I can't, like, as a person, whatever, but damn, he's a good entrant. Like, he just gets it. And I hate that he gets it.
Yeah.
So you know,
hate it. But I love
Yeah.
it.
Go ahead, Kay.
so you know how on last week's show I predicted, all 60 entrants of the Royal Rumble?
What was your percentage, by the way?
Terrible. I did not get a single thing right for the men, except Cody winning.
What do you mean
for
by,
the
like, single thing right? Like, you didn't get
When I say correct, I mean the order of the
Oh, okay.
entrants. So in terms of the men, I was incorrect about every single entrant. However, I was off by 1 on Santos Escobar. I was off by 1 for Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic. I hate that kid, but I love him.
I know. I was off by a lot of stuff on the men's. When we get to the women's, I had better luck.
The women's was, I
But-
will tell you this right now, the women's Rumble was a more entertaining Rumble.
So much better. Like the men's Rumble was fun. It was good. It was fine. My list was better.
Yeah. There's
It was.
yeah.
Like I had Nakamura, Dragon Lee debuted on mine, Bad Bunny was on mine, Jay White debuted on mine.
Jay White debuted on everybody's Rumble prediction. Everybody said Jay
Yeah,
White.
mine too.
I will say, like, I'm bummed that Cody came in at 30.
I'm bummed they announced he was coming and he came in at 30.
Me
If
too.
they
Like
didn't
that's
announce
such
it,
a
it'd be
fucking
great.
waste.
They didn't just announce it. They gave him video packages for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's why I put him in at like what did I put him in as? I put him in number 2.
2 would have been great. 3 would have been fine. Imagine if we didn't know he was coming. Logan Paul and Ricochet have a car crash in the middle of the air. 3, 2, 1. Everything goes dark. Wrestling heavily. Sami Zayn can go to hell at that point because that's the pop of the night.
Yeah.
No, like they had like no. Cody's gonna. They're doing the Triple H thing from 2002, where we give him this many packages, so without a shadow of a doubt, he's winning this Rumble.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He has to finish the story, but he started at Mania from last year. Moving on, as we know, Cody did win, but also to of note, the first man in the Rumble was the second to last man in the Rumble, and he broke the record. Gunther solidified himself as the ring general, as he says, with a
so
Royal
fucking
Rumble
good.
record, 1 hour and 11 minutes. That shows you how much they trust this man to do anything with anybody.
Yeah, this man here is going to be world champion within the next. Well, from the time Roman loses, within 18 months of that, he'll be the world champion.
And listen, if it's Cody versus Gunther and maybe you do a three match rivalry thing, I'm all for it because they worked beautifully together as the final 2. Gunther by this picture looks amazing. Like he looks unbelievable. And people are gonna think about this all you want, but Gunther has brought back prestige to the Intercontinental Championship again. It means something that he has it on him. And that he's
I
been
think
so
he's gonna
damn
break
dominant.
the record.
Rick
Think
Dragon,
what?
what, longest Intercontinental Championship reign?
Yeah, I think so.
He got a while to go to beat Honky.
Yeah. Well, that's a most.
Yeah. I mean, towards the end of my show, and I've been vocal about it ever since. I'm not the biggest WWE watcher anymore,
Sure.
and I've seen Gunther and Imperium, and as he's lost the weight, he's gotten into shape. He looks phenomenal, but I've always said, it feels like he lost something when he wasn't the big hulking man I saw nearly kill Pete Dunne in New York.
Yeah, that wasn't Annihilation.
This man is just as scary. He's an amazing worker, and he's safe enough where Cody was like, "Yeah, I just had my chest rebuilt. Please hit me as hard as you can, as many times as you can." Fantastic. Yeah. I'd never thought he was going to win, but I started to get hope.
I would have popped really fucking hard if he won the Royal Rumble.
Listen, he has one of the best acts going. And if that didn't scare you about Gunther, watch his Clash of the Castle match with Sheamus.
Oh,
match of the year.
Hands down match of the year.
I kept a list all last year of the best matches of the year. That's my best WWE match for sure. Is those two. It may be second only to FTR and the Briscoes one, but it is so good.
Yeah. So good.
I feel like Gunther shows up on my best of the year a lot.
Well, you like Gunther commands. Obviously, as you know, folks, Cody Rhodes won. He immediately declared to face Roman. This is a great story.
He didn't have an option.
Yeah. This is a great story in and of itself because it's the battle of two royal families, which he made a mention of in his opening Raw promo. Which, by the way, masterclass in promo. Cody Rhodes. In one promo, the first promo post Royal Rumble sold the WrestleMania main event, hook, line, and sinker. Like I'm sold. I want to see it.
I didn't watch it yet.
It's great.
So good.
I watched Raw, but I tuned in late because I got busy at work. So I turned it on after Cody's promo.
Listen, look at Cody's promo.
So what did he say?
He pretty much said, "I'm going to finish what I started. I told you when I first got here, I want that title. I'm going to get that title, the only title that's eluded my family." And he mentioned like how wrestling has more than one royal family. He's like, I respect Roman, I respect his family, but my family's just as good. It's pretty much what he said.
Well,
it's just, I was skeptical. I was skeptical about Cody going back to WWE. I was skeptical about the push. When he had the matches with Rollins, I was like, okay, great. He ran through Rollins. He tore his chest off and still wrestled that amazing match. And when he showed up on Sunday at number 30, or Saturday at number 30, I was like, okay, you're coming in number 30. Maybe you're not as ready as you think. And then he had the last segment with Gunther. He cut this promo. He had a match with Finn. I'm all on board. Cody, all the way to Mania. Let's do it. It's so good.
Like I said, if you're not on board, just look at the WWE shop. He has 5 new shirts out in less than a week. They're all really good too. No, stop it. They are good. I don't care.
I think they're I'm sorry. Cody's aesthetic is fucking ugly to me.
Whatever. I will say he has a great tagline. It's what is it? Undeniable.
No more.
There's 2 more.
Undeniable. What? I can't remember what it was.
Whatever.
It's probably not good. We can't remember his catchphrase.
Yeah. But no, it's yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. But let's move on.
Undesirable something.
Undeniable, undesirable, uncrowned. That's what it is. Undeniable, undesirable, uncrowned. It's perfect. It tells you everything you need to know.
Except they can't sell that shirt after Mania.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. It's when the Hollywood story comes to an end in Hollywood. But let's move on to Here Come the Women, the Women's Royal Rumble, which I thought was the more entertaining match, and a lot more surprises here. First surprise off being the NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez, who is from the state of Texas, put on a show really quickly.
She looked great.
She's only 21 years old. She's a tiny little thing. Booker T's protege. Oh yeah, Booker T did show up at the Men's Rumble, which is really funny.
I'd love Booker T.
Yeah.
Anybody that shows up that was one of my dad's favorites, I'm gonna pop big for it, and that was Booker T. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean,
Shucky Ducky Quack Quack.
Shucky Ducky Quack Quack. Roxanne is a protege of Booker T. She put on a show. I mean, I was skeptical because I've been following her a little bit on NXT. I've been skeptical of her getting pushed so heavily, but there's a reason she was the first ever Ring of Honor Women's Champion. This girl can go. And
I wanted to see more.
Yeah, she wasn't afraid of the spotlight either.
I hated that she was in there for what, 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes.
That's fine.
she was in there and did some great stuff.
Yeah,
She can afford to be taken out early.
Yeah, but she could have also afforded to be the one to take out BFAB.
she could have afforded one to take out BFAB, which I was surprised BFAB was in, but I was like, they got to give her experience.
Me
somehow.
too.
You know,
I would be honest. I didn't know who BFAB was.
it's fine.
Okay. All right, as long as it's fine.
It's fine. I do love me some Hit Row. It's all about Top Dollar, although he did have one of the greatest botches I've ever seen in wrestling history. I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you've seen that, Mance, but I'll send it to you.
I haven't. Is it better than Titus World Slide?
It's up for it. Think about trying to hit think about hitting a tope con hilo and not even getting air.
I saw this. It's close.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah,
this was everywhere when it happened.
Yeah. Other surprises going on in the Women's Rumble. Chelsea Green was signed.
She got in and out of the ring without breaking her arm. I call it a win.
So happy. I'm very happy for her.
And now she's a Karen on Raw.
She's essentially playing Karen, which is great because they already have a crazy woman, and that's Nikki Cross. So this is the next best thing for Chelsea Green, and she's going to kill it.
I also loved when she got eliminated. Corey Graves goes, "I couldn't even make fun of her husband."
Yeah, where was the woo-woo guy?
He's probably somewhere lurking in the background.
I would have popped really fucking hard if he showed up at the Rumble.
I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Cardona does return in some way, shape, or form. I actually thought for a second that Lana was going to show up because Lana was TikToking from the Rumble. She was clearly backstage with everybody, but Lana did not show up at the Rumble. But she was chilling back there.
Respectfully, I don't know how many people are clamoring for a Lana return.
I'm clamoring for a Lana return.
I'm not. Wait, can I say something about Matt Cardona real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I took 18 months off of being a podcast from the Labor Day weekend, September of 2021 until tonight. That's the first time I've been on a wrestling podcast.
Welcome back.
A lot of stuff happened. A lot.
Yeah.
The most infuriating thing that happened, Matt Cardona won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
So, sorry, all right, hold on. You're going to tell me that Matt Cardona winning the NWA Championship is more infuriating than the guy who won it after him, Brodus Clay?
That's just sad. I was angry that he won the title.
Okay.
Why were you angry?
Because this is the woo-woo guy. I mean, and granted, he's done a lot of great stuff. He's done a lot of better stuff. But to me, Matt Cardona, and granted, I love the character he's playing. I'm supposed to be infuriated. Trevor Murdoch had just gotten that title. I had followed the Trevor Murdoch beating Nick Aldis storyline so far, and I wanted Trevor Murdoch to go on that monster run. And he didn't because of the woo-woo guy.
Well,
the guy with the weird pants.
As someone that was born and raised on Long Island, wooing for Matt Cardona feels just as natural as eating a bagel at the beach.
You know it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, bagels are beach food? That seems weird to me too. From the South, what?
Okay, so rolling up to the deli to get a bagel or an egg sandwich before going to the beach.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Classic. Yeah. You get bagels in the morning, and then if you're going to the beach in the afternoon, you go to the deli to get a sandwich.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're just going to have to visit New York again, man, so we're going to have to take you around. I'm going to have
to come to New York and get bagels.
Yeah.
Because you know what, we have bagels down here when we're at the Days Inn and they're on the Continental Breakfast Bar.
Yeah,
we don't eat bagels.
Yeah,
we eat biscuits.
Yeah. Biscuits are great. Biscuits and gravy, great. I get it. But bagels are an art form here on Long Island.
And in the city, too.
Passing thought here in Kentucky.
We will change your mind, sir.
All right. I'm down for it.
We will change your mind.
A toasted egg everything bagel with veggie cream cheese. Oh.
Yeah, so egg everything.
Nothing like it.
And have you ever had an egg bagel?
No.
Can you explain an egg bagel, Kay Murphy? It's the best bagel ever.
I'm more partial to the egg everything bagel, but
Well,
an
no,
egg bagel,
I just an egg bagel in and of itself. I love egg bagel too. I love egg everything as well, but just egg, just to give a core concept of what an egg bagel is.
how do I describe an egg bagel? Like, it's so like it's not like a plain bagel. Like,
It's a
what
plain
is? I'm
bagel
assuming
with
just
some
like coated in egg,
like
coated in egg wash.
coated in egg wash or something like that, so it has a golden look to it.
It's like a beautiful yellow. An egg bagel is a versatile bagel. Goes great with both butter and cream cheese,
Or lox.
or lox as well. A breakfast sandwich on a blueberry bagel is top tier.
That is. Although I will say,
I've never done that.
although the ultimate breakfast sandwich is a McGriddle, but that's neither here nor there. Shout out to Dave. Anywho, moving on, Chelsea Green was not the only surprise that happened. We also had the second biggest pop of the night. Kana made her debut. People are like, oh, that's Asuka. No, that's not Asuka. That's Kana. Okay, and if the crowd pop didn't tell you what was about to happen, because that's a room full of marks, okay, that lost their shit. The looks on Liv Morgan and Tegan Knox's face sold it. It was almost as if they weren't in the room when Asuka was getting her makeup on. And
Maybe they hit her.
I would have hit her.
She could have worn the mask all day long. I popped big.
Listen, Triple H is allowing her to bring the character that got her noticed around the wrestling world, you know, to WWE. And I don't think a regular person who just watches WWE knows what they're in for. Because this is the perfect I'm going to go really nerdy here. This is the perfect personification of the Joker in wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's better than what Danhausen tried to do. Oh, Danhausen's more Deadpool. However, Kana is totally Joker chaos at all times, and it doesn't stop at all. And you should be afraid. And I've never heard Corey Graves scream so much for somebody that wasn't Carmella.
No, literally. Also, quick sideberg. Why the fuck wasn't Carmella a return in the fucking Rumble? That was so dumb to bring her back on Raw.
Because they're sacrificing her to Kana. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great question, but no, I would have popped big for Carmella coming back. But that would be a hat on a hat at that point.
Carmella wouldn't be taking away from fucking Kana.
No, but she is the first sacrifice as showed on Raw. Well, I would have loved Carmella to come back just to see Corey Graves lose his mind as a heel.
As if he didn't know she was in the building.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
I could see Corey Graves popping up from his seat and running from the desk to like greet his wife.
Good for him. Good for him.
I think it would have been cute as fuck if Carmella was in the Rumble, but they didn't tell Corey Graves. That would have been so cute.
That would have been fun. But
Yeah,
I think,
speaking of not
go ahead.
telling somebody about the Rumble, somebody should have mentioned to Michelle McCool. She was on the list.
Speaking of Michelle McCool,
No, literally.
Before we get to Michelle McCool, Piper Niven got her name back.
Niven.
Thank God.
So
Thank
happy.
God.
So happy.
I was so happy. I saw Dewdrop versus Becky last year. Fine. The fire was more impressive. Piper Niven's back, and we're in for some fun now.
And you know what it was? She looked more confident finally.
Oh
Yeah.
She got her name back. She was happy. She was wearing her country's colors as her gear. She was ready to go. Corey Graves said the dew's about to drop as she entered the ring, which was great by Corey Graves.
I think that they never properly said, "Oh, this is Dewdrop." No, they made a bunch of dumb jokes, but we all knew who this was.
Exactly.
Piper Niven's here. That's what's up.
Yeah, very happy for her. She had some physical issues, but I'm so happy she's back because she is sorely needed. That women's division in WWE has just shot up with all the people that they signed or returned. And speaking of which, again, Michelle McCool, this is a brilliant move. one of the most creative Rumble and one of the most creative Rumble entries ever. Because if people forget, right before Bianca and Bliss went at it, Michelle McCool was shown in the crowd
with her daughter.
And that's where she stayed.
Yeah,
That's where she stayed.
and she got up and just like, oh,
Jumped
I
out
guess
of the
I got to
crowd.
wrestle now.
Yeah. She wrestled in Ugg boots. Okay? This woman, this beautiful woman, took off a jacket, revealed a nice little top that she had, is in sweats and a sports bra, and was giving people the styles clash.
Yeah,
Good for her.
Michelle McTaker got in the ring and just just tore the house down. So good.
It's a shame she's not active.
I was gonna. Do you think they could do like one final run for her and then put her in the Hall? She's not in the Hall of Fame, right?
She's not, no.
She's not.
Give her one more run and then put her in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think she wants to.
And that's
Fair.
the thing. She's got that little girl who's what, 10?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be on the road as much as I'd have to be for WWE right now. I've got a almost 9 and 11-year-old.
Yeah.
I get that.
Unless their daughter shows interest like, Mommy, what were you like when you were wrestling? Maybe she'll do it.
That kind of thinking got us 2 Universal title reigns for Goldberg. No thanks.
I was just gonna say Goldberg came back for his children.
Listen.
She needs to stay away.
Listen.
No,
It was...
Goldberg did us a service.
My thing with Michelle McCool is that she was in an okay division. I mean, she had Beth and a couple of other prominent names, but I want to see Michelle McCool with these women right now because she'll dominate all of them, guaranteed. She'll put on some matches for them. It's a matter of if she wants to or not. Like, if she can wrestle in Ugg boots at where she's at right now, just literally coming out of a crowd, she could do anything she wants. It was fantastic. But last but finally not least, the final surprise, which they didn't even finish the countdown for, because
They botched Nia Jax's entrance. It's perfect.
But it's fine. I was so happy for Nia. And yeah, she got eliminated relatively early. However, they made her look like $1 million in a weird wrestling way.
It took 11 women to eliminate Nia Jax. It makes Nia Jax look like a monster. I, in many ways, love Nia Jax. And in many ways, I don't like Nia Jax at all.
I was just gonna say, in many ways, I hate Nia Jax.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite WrestleMania women's storylines ever. Was Nia versus Alexa.
That was a beautiful storyline. She's just a horrible face.
Mm-hmm.
She's a horrible face. It could be fun to have her, but she wasn't on Raw. If she's not on SmackDown, was this a one-off or is she actually back?
It's determined where she'll be probably. Like I thought Chelsea Green was a one-off, but that's not a one-off. I have nothing to confirm this, but I'm pretty certain Nia Jax is officially back.
Huh.
Oh, I don't. I heard she wasn't signed, then it's a one-off.
Well, Taekwon is reporting that Nia Jax has merchandise, so it's
She
not
does,
a
but
one-off.
that doesn't mean anything.
That means something usually. You're not going to just print out merch for a one night only. It's not like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I don't got KOTR merch.
You should go in our shop and do that. But I was if this is like a one-off for Nia, if that, so be it, because she didn't deserve to get let go the way she did.
No.
No.
And if she wanted to do this one-time thing just to be like, hey, this is my send-off, that's good. I was hoping in an alternate universe, I was talking with my friend Charles, that I wish they would have had a moment for Sasha and Bailey eliminates Sasha and totally eliminates the Sasha character at the Rumble. Obviously, contractual purposes probably wouldn't allow that, but I was thinking, wow, what a moment that would have been in the Rumble.
Not bringing back Naomi was a fucking huge misstep for me.
A lot of women were wearing neon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happening with Naomi. I don't know if she might be the next heater for the Bloodline. You know, I can also see Nia being that person for the Bloodline. There's also a way where you can incorporate
need to
Tamina too.
They need to add all the women to the Bloodline because that would make it so much richer.
You don't need to add all the women. You need to add one woman, and who you choose depends on how that story goes. Because, for instance, let's say you pick Tamina. The reason you bring Tamina in is to keep Roman in check, because Tamina is the oldest of all of them.
That's true.
And she has authority.
I could not figure out a way to get Tamina into this, but that is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. She can be like
I forgot. I guess she's the oldest one.
She would have authority and say over Roman. So if Roman, Tamina would be the only person to keep Roman in line, because by the way of storyline, Tamina's the only person Roman would listen to by way of his culture.
Because she's an elder?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's not bad.
That's why.
It's not bad.
So
all right, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. Like I said, I hope Nia stays. I think there's a spot for her somewhere. And we'll see where it goes from there. But K Murphy, this is your brutality, and mommy, daddy, whatever pronoun you want to give them, Rhea Ripley won the Royal Rumble. Also, the 4th person ever to go wire to wire at number 1 in the Rumble and win the whole thing. The first woman ever to do it, and she also broke the women's longevity record in the Rumble, beating Bianca Belair.
I would like to point out that I predicted Rhea and Liv as number 1 and number 2. So I was validated.
I would say kudos to Liv Morgan too. I did Liv did a good job.
Liv went wire to wire too. She just lost.
Yeah, by getting misted by Kana.
My only other correct entrant prediction was Lena Vega at 21. Chelsea Green, I was off by 1.
Was so good.
Yeah, she's gonna be really fun in Street Fighter.
I'm not a Street Fighter person. I was like, what the hell is she wearing? And then
I like Street Fighter,
okay.
but it's like hard.
It is hard.
Yes.
Holy shit. I popped so hard for Rhea winning, but I'm like really disappointed in the Charlotte pick.
Yeah, she picked Charlotte, which okay.
I don't get it. I
so
wanted Bianca and Rhea so bad.
So I guess they're trying to capitalize off the fact that like Charlotte won the NXT title at Mania 3 years ago, but like I understand that pandemic Mania counts, but like
it was a good show, just there was no crowd.
Yeah. I feel like we don't need to revisit this at all.
Yeah.
Bianca and Charlotte was such a better story. That way Bianca should drop by Mania. That way she could go after Charlotte, get the SmackDown title, and beat all the horsewomen.
That's where I thought the story was going, especially the way they set it up at Raw 30. But apparently that's not going to happen.
Selfishly, I would have loved to see Rhea challenge Roman because...
Oh my god, you tried to convince me of this the night of, or on Monday night, and I was like, no.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. I guess it's possible.
I think they can make Rhea be everything China never got to be. I believe wholeheartedly Rhea Ripley is the wrestler to do that.
Maybe. That's a big maybe. Rhea does need to get away from Judgment Day because now we have seen that Rhea has superseded the Judgment Day. But she's still in line with Dominic. My issue with Rhea choosing Charlotte, be it as it may history, it's the easy choice. It's the easy way out for WWE. My issue is that why the hell did Rhea challenge Charlotte on Raw?
Yeah, go to SmackDown.
Oh yeah, that's stupid.
Because if you look back at when the first time it happened, Rhea was goading Charlotte for a long time. Charlotte showed up at NXT and said, I accept.
Yeah.
You know, Rhea should have done a sneak attack on Charlotte and been like, I challenge you. I would have been more excited for that. You know, the question is, what do you do with Bianca? She's obviously going to face somebody who wins the EC for the women. My big guess would be Kana versus Bianca.
Same.
It makes
Give
the
me that.
most sense.
That's
It's the
my
best match
that's my
possibility.
big guess. That's the best match. Then you go into another story. Does Kana lose twice at a big manias? We don't know. But we'll see.
I also would have loved to see Kana versus Charlotte at Mania, so she could get revenge for
Oh
Charlotte
Lord Almighty, a
beating her.
rematch? Yes.
Better.
Yes. Yes.
I will never get over how mad that match made me.
It didn't
Well,
make me
that's the thing,
mad.
that-
I was so happy. It was a beautiful match.
That's kind of what I have a problem with Rhea versus Charlotte. I'm not confident Rhea's going to win. It's Charlotte
I'm
Flair.
not either.
There's a 40% chance that Charlotte's just going to win. And the match, I'm not worried about the quality of the match. I'm worried about the quality of the storyline and the sense that it makes. Because if you think back to Rhea wins the Raw title, Bianca wins the SmackDown title, Raquel wins the NXT title, they have that moment where the three of them are together. Bianca and Rhea have got this history. And now you can build off that to this, battle of longtime friends who now want the same belt. That's great. Do that. I understand I lost to Charlotte Flair. I have to get that win back. I understand that. It's just not as good a story.
And it's also the thing too.
No.
There's more history. I think there's more direct history with Rhea and Bianca because who did Bianca eliminate to go to WrestleMania?
Rhea, right?
She beat Rhea. They were the final two, and at that time, Bianca had the record for longest woman in a Rumble. Rhea just beat that.
Yeah, it all points to Bianca.
Yeah,
But no, Charlotte. It's always Charlotte.
it's
Flair.
safe. But I think, like we said, if we were to switch the opponents, this is assuming Connor's going to win the Elimination Chamber, which we'll talk about in 2 weeks. I would have loved Kana versus Charlotte, and Rhea versus Bianca. Rhea comes out, declares against Bianca, cool, fine. Then you switch it up, and Kana versus Charlotte, 2 in Hollywood at Prince money. At Prince a lot of money. Right there, but we'll see how this goes. Although, like Mance said, I'm not confident in the way the storyline's going to be built, but we'll see what happens. On to the last thing we'll talk about for the Rumble. The Pitch Black match wasn't the best, wasn't the worst.
Interesting.
It was fine.
Aesthetically, pretty interesting.
It looked cool.
Yeah. Also very interesting that we never gave Naomi something like this,
No, it's literally.
like a Feel the Glow match. Or something, but it's a match. It happened. Okay.
It was super quick, very pretty. It what it needed to do. That was it.
We also do know that
Okay.
Uncle Howdy cannot hit an elbow drop from that high up.
Oh no, that was bad.
He missed by 10 to 12 feet.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. Whoever you are, Uncle Howdy, if you believe. Moving
Oh,
on.
I believe.
But I do have one
B
more thing
team,
about
B
about-
team, go go go.
the Pitch Black. It gives me hope. It does give me hope that in the future we're gonna get the Mountain Dew Code Red Hell in the Cell match, the Mountain Dew Sweet Lightning
Oh,
Electrified Steel
stop it.
Cage match, and the Mountain Dew Baja Blast Exploding Barbed Wire match. I instead of watching this match, I looked up types of Mountain Dew to make up matches.
Money in the Baja Blast.
Yeah,
Money in
There
the
you go.
Baja Blast match. Nice. I will say, if Cody's after show pressure was anything to go by, I need to try Pitch Black because apparently it tastes really good.
What
or
are the
Cody's a
favorite-
fantastic actor.
Well, he said he hadn't had sugar
don't-
in 3 months, so.
Yeah,
What's the flavor
it's a
profile?
it's
on
a
this Mountain
grape
Dew?
Mountain Dew.
Bye.
Mr.
Nope.
Fred said
Don't
it's
want that.
grape soda.
Ugh.
Don't you
So-
grape soda? Okay.
I hate it.
You wow. I'm gonna revoke your invitation to the cookout. Anywho,
That's not nice.
you're not liking grape soda isn't nice either. Anywho, NXT Vengeance
I
Day.
like orange soda.
Who doesn't love orange soda? NXT.
I'm sure there's someone.
Probably. NXT is going on the road for the first time in almost a year. They're going with their Vengeance Day premium live event live from Charlotte, North Carolina. And on the card, we're going to go through this really quickly because we are running a little bit long in the tooth. Obviously, the NXT Championship, everybody's favorite Steiner named Braun Breaker, is going against everybody's most hated Australian, Grayson Waller, in a steel cage match. Up next, Cora Jade, the NXT Women's Champion, is facing the two remaining members of the faction formerly run by Mandy Rose, Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan, aka Priscilla Kelly, and JC Jane are going to be challenging Roxanne Perez in essentially a triple threat match, a little handicap style, who knows? We'll see what goes with that. Which the match is probably going to technically steal the show. Apollo Crews versus Carmelo Hayes, the next big thing in WWE, I will say that, in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Up next in the card, Wesley, former member of the Rascals and the only one remaining that's still actually wrestling and legitimate, versus Dominic Dijakovic, or just Dijak now, for the North American.
He looks so different.
He's like a giant Punisher guy, and his hair's black. Versus Dominic Dijakovic, or Dijak, North American Championship. We also have a fatal 4-way for the NXT Tag Team Championships. NXT Tag Team Champions, Mance, The New Day. Versus the poor person's Breezango, aka Pretty Deadly, versus Chase U, versus the Thick Boys from NXT UK, Gallus. And then last but not least, we also have the NXT Women's Championship. 2 of my favorite boos in NXT. My former classmate, Casey Catanzaro, also known as Katana Chance, versus Kaden Carter, Team Ninja as they used to call themselves, versus Fallon Henley and Kiana James for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. So, before we go into rating how we think this event will be, because it is happening this Saturday on Peacock, or as Pat McAfee says, The Cock.
The Cock.
Yes. Mr. Chappell, Mr. Mance Chappell, what are your thoughts on this NXT card?
It's not bad. There's a lot of good stuff here. I think every men's title is going to change hands. Every one of them.
Ooh.
Because I believe Wesley and Braun Breaker are ready to go to the main roster. The New Day is just here for a little layover. And if you're asking me personally, I think Pretty Deadly's taking the belts back. I want Gallus to take them.
Everybody wants Gallus to take it.
You can call her Kaden Carter all you want. That is Lacey Lane. That is my nemesis from the Mae Young Classic. I have not forgiven her.
Wait, hold on. I'm missing something. What did Lacey Lane do to you?
Go all the way back to the Mae Young Classic. Lacey Lane, like God's my witness, I can't remember who she eliminated, but there was a much more. And I had to look it up. Maybe I will look it up as y'all talk about the next thing. She made an eliminate. She won a match that she should not have won, and I got very afraid she was going to beat Mako Satomura in the next match, and I lost my mind on Lacey Lane on an episode of the Gifted Podcast. And every time she pops up, my brain goes, "That's Lacey Lane," and but she's gonna retain her title at the thing. But no, it's been 3 years, 4 years. No, it's still there.
Wow, that's right. Kay Murphy, what are your thoughts on this NXT Vengeance Day card?
I think it'll be fine. I don't know anything about half these people on NXT anymore.
You should.
I agree with
it's
Mance.
entertaining stuff.
Maybe I'll try watching NXT again. I just have not had the time or the interest in NXT, but I'll give it maybe like an 8 because I don't know anything about NXT, so I can't fairly judge.
Yeah.
I also agree that I think Braun Breaker's coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
New Day's dropping. Don't know anything about I don't know anything about NXT anymore. I feel so weird crowning it, but I'll give it an 8 just out of an assumption.
Yeah. What would you crown this, Mr. Chappell, Mr. Mance?
Out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10. 10 being the best, 1 being the worst.
7.5.
Okay.
It's passing.
Yeah.
It's not bad. She eliminated Ty Conti from the Mae Young Classic.
Well, I mean, I think that worked out the best for everybody.
That's true. But still.
Again, I think that worked out the best for everybody. For me, I'm going to give this... Oh, sorry, Will's not invited to the cookout. I will give this... I'm going to set the bar low because I don't know how that crowd's going to be. I know tickets are always cheap for NXT, which is a great thing if I was in the Charlotte area. But I don't know how we're going to be. I don't know how we're going to react. They usually put on good shows when they're outside of the Performance Center or the Capitol Wrestling Center, whichever you want to call it. But I just have some concerns that all these matches will hit or not. So I'm going to go to 7. I'm setting the bar low for this. I'm still going to watch because I have no life, but I'm going to set it at 7. Yeah, 7 of that. So that concludes our show. That is the end of our show right now. And Mance, thank you for coming in. I don't want to bring you out of retirement often, but you are welcome back anytime you want.
I'm around. You see Bill Goldberg, give me a call. I'll come say things. No, I enjoy doing this. I don't enjoy the time crunch I have now to make it. So I'm always happy to be around. You need a third face. Let me know. I'm happy to be here.
Sure, good. And this is the bittersweet last full-time show of the K Murphy. So K Murphy, is there anything that you want everybody to know one final time?
Like plugging my socials and all that?
No. Just I'm giving you the chance to speak.
General.
I'm just giving you the chance to speak freely.
Well, the last 4 years on KOTR have been a blast, and I've definitely done and experienced things I never in a million years thought I would. And I'm bummed that I won't be here every Wednesday, but I'll be here whenever the fuck I want. CM Punk comes back, you bet your ass I'll be here. Jeff Hardy comes back, or something happens to Jeff Hardy, you bet I'll be here. Special events, I'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to thank everybody that has hung around for such a long time. And yeah, that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to post.
Well, before we do that, Kay, I do have some nice words for you as well. You have been a member of the Valkyrie from years past, and you have been a great person to share a friendship with. You have been an amazing person to learn from. I think you have taught myself, and I can only speak for myself, but I think you've taught myself, and you taught Will, and I think you teach anybody, whoever comes into contact with you, so many things about life and how to be a great person in general. And I can say about all of our lives, especially mine, are better now that we have met you and that we've had you in it for such a long time. You have become a close confidant of mine where I confide in you with a lot of stuff about myself personally and professionally, and I do appreciate all the time that you take out to speak with me whenever I need it. And, recently I've needed it a lot more. But I do appreciate it. You have been one of the most epic things about this podcast, and the reason that it keeps going, and the reason that a lot of people tune in, and the reason that people buy probably your merch more so than anybody else's merchandise. That's
wild.
It's true. You have friends in the Vaz family that bought 18 of your sweatshirts. Remember that? But you are going to be sorely missed. It's going to be different without you on a week-to-week basis. But I know whenever I need you or whenever anybody else needs you, you'll be there to help out the people that are close to you. So I just want to say thank you for these last couple of years and being such a great influence, a positive influence, and a mentor for wrestling and advocacy and all the other great things that you do, because everybody is better off after they have met you.
Thank you. That was very sweet. To Kwan's comments, I would like to point out. Saquon says Ricky is so kind to his long-term friend, and this is a graceful farewell. Me, on the other hand, fuck you, Kay. You traitor's bitch. Don't you ever show your face around here again. Oh.
And on that note, folks, let's cue an outro that I'll put up in post, and let's get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kings of the Rings podcast, or this has been Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 326, The Passion of the Ucey, and it is a passionate yet bittersweet ending to Kay Murphy's full-time reign, but we do know that their passion and their love will always remain as a part of this podcast, especially when they return. I have been your host, King Ricky Rose. You can formerly find me at Ambassador Biggs across all social media, because I am not there for the indefinite and immediate future. Find Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR_podcast on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, across all social media. Like, share, subscribe. Leave us some 5-star reviews. And if you're listening to us, please listen to us on Wrestle Addict Radio, the cure for the common wrestling podcast. I know you remember that one, Mance. And follow Wrestle Addict Radio socials at addict_wrestle on Twitter and Wrestle Addict Radio everywhere else. The Friends of the Show era response has been pretty big. I will be getting back to everybody and scheduling times when we bring in more guests on a week-to-week basis. I don't know who we're doing next week, but we will definitely, I'll definitely get back to you when we figure out who's going to be where. But until then, folks, let's go over to Mance Chapel. Any final words, Mance?
I am, of course, and forever will be the Monday Night Delight, Mance Chapel. You can find me on Twitter at MN_Delight. You can find me on TikTok at MN Delight. I do weird shit there. It's sometimes funny. I'm always around. I'm always on the Twitter. I'll make comments from time to time. And if I'm ever needed for anything, you know where to find me. Kay, my dear, I love you. We talk 3-4 times a week. My oldest child wants to meet you desperately. And you were great here. You were great as my co-host, and you're going to do great things. I can't wait to see.
Yeah. Kay Murphy, one final time.
Y'all are killing me. As we know, I hate doing closings more than anything else. So for the last time in a while, you can find me across all social media platforms at the K Murphy, TheKae Murphy. You can find my bearded dragon, Frank Tortellini, at Frank Tortellini on Instagram.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
And how could you forget about Franklin?
I'm not on Instagram right now.
He's the best. I don't care. How do you forget about Franklin?
Continue, Kay.
He has the cutest face anyone's ever
Continue,
seen.
Kay.
You can follow my graphic design store at Euphoric Future Designs on Instagram and on Spring. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all.
Yeah. So when we come back next week, brand new guest host, hopefully. Maybe Will's back from his exile of internet, or maybe I just have someone that you've never seen before on this show, or maybe I'll bring back a queen. So until then, folks, goodbye, good night. Kay Murphy, we love you so much.
I love y'all so much.
And I'll
Thank
give
y'all
you
for being
this ender for me. Say it, because I know you won't be saying it in a while on the show. Can you please?
All right, y'all. 4 words. Click, clack, fuck, slack. Good night, everyone.
Good night, folks.
Right.
And just like that, Mans, welcome to our post show.
Hey, can't stay long.
I know. It's.
Kids go
Do you
bed.
remember Tip of the?
Oh, we should have.
What's a?
We needed to speak about the. I wish we spoke about that fucking Hardy performance at the
We
Royal Rumble.
didn't have enough time to shit on that.
What was that? I described. He looked like Jonathan Davis from Korn if he had short, straight hair.
Jonathan Davis, and Mitch Hedberg, and Jonathan Davis had a kid.
No, literally.
That's not bad.
See, folks, Mance, if you remember the Tip of the Crown, which was coined by Mr. Fretz, we made it our Tip of the Crown post show where we curate the best tweets from wrestling Twitter on a running slide as we BS for the rest of the night.
Right.
So.
No, I've seen a few of these. It's great to be here, but like I said, I unfortunately can't stay too much for the post. I got 2 kids, got to get to bed. I've had a wonderful time. Kay, I love you, and I can't wait to come back. I'll see you all soon. I hate to run, but I do.
It's okay, man. You were here for as long as you can, and I appreciate you being patient with us, especially with all of our technical difficulties. You're a pleasure. I miss you kind of running the ship by my side, but life gets in the way, and I totally understand.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Love you. Say hi to the fam for me.
Will do.
Bye, Mance.
Love you. Bye.
So, Kay Murphy, you want to hear something?
Right.
Want to hear something great?
Always.
So I know this isn't your lifestyle anymore because I know you are totally sober, but so the queen of the podcast, the Queen Danny Nolan, Hall of Famer, actually texted me the day of the Rumble with their annual Royal Rumble drinking rules.
Okay, I love watching Danny's drinking game progress on Twitter. I didn't catch it this year, but every year I do make a point to look out for it because I usually would take the drinking game from Danny and play it with weed.
Yeah, so I played it. I didn't have I wasn't like directly opposite, but I was communicating with them with her through their drunken stupor for most of the night. So you want to hear what the rules were?
Yes.
Okay, so I actually played this with Charles as we watched the show together via PlayStation. So take one sip during when there's ever an entrant into a match. So every entrance into a match is one sip. Take one sip when the words "both feet must touch the floor" are said. Take one sip when the
Oh.
commentary team brings up a trending Twitter hashtag. Take one sip when someone says the road to WrestleMania. Take one sip when someone says every man or woman for himself or herself. Take one sip when the commentary team mentions a sponsor. Take one sip when a finisher is used. And take one sip when a commentary team mentions a statistic about the Rumble.
What the fuck?
Okay,
That's a lot.
so here's the two sip category. Take two sips when
Oh
yeah.
God.
Take two sips when a superstar eliminates their tag team partner. When they show the Royal Rumble video fax package. When a superstar is eliminated by two or more people. When the commentary team mentions the time someone has lasted in the Rumble. When multiple members of a stable are in the ring at the same time. When any titles change hands. When a member of the Bloodline attempts to save Roman's title. And if the pitch black match doesn't turn out terrible.
Oh my God.
Okay, and then there's the third category is take three sips. Take three sips if a superstar is eliminated under 30 seconds. Take three sips if a superstar is attacked before or during their entrance. Take three sips if a superstar does something crazy to save themselves. Take three sips if a superstar from NXT enters the Rumble. Take three sips if a superstar points at the WrestleMania sign. And lastly, take three sips anytime a digital exclusive is shown. And then
Oh my
the
God.
final category, K. Murphy, is the
Chugging.
finish your drink category. So finish your drink when a Hall of Famer not already announced enters the Rumble, if a celebrity enters the Rumble, if a superstar eliminates themselves, if any record is broken, if either of the first two entrants make it to the final two. So the Women's Rumble was very exciting. And finally, finish your drink if someone from another company enters the Rumble.
Okay. That is a lot.
Well, there's more too now.
There's more.
So she also added an Extreme Rules category. Like if you wanted to drink, but you wanted to take your drink into the extreme. So the Extreme Rules category was you take a drink for every elimination and the entrance. And then the other extreme rule was you change the three sip category to taking a shot.
Oh my God. You know what's wild? In my drinking days, I 1,000% would have played it that way.
Bet you would have.
Now in my my non-drinking days, I want to play with like snacks and weed.
Yeah. So
And even so, like I watch pay-per-views now. I usually will do like a watch during shift now, I guess, and then we'll do rewatches after work or the morning after, depending on how wired I am after work. Like I started the Rumble at like 2:30 in the morning on Saturday, like for reals.
yeah.
But like, it was so much fun. It was really good. I could not imagine getting that fucked up during the Royal Rumble.
So here's what I'm going to expose Charles here because I don't care. But
Let's hear it.
so essentially, Charles is a first time drinking during wrestling event. Drinking game during wrestling event person, and so he felt like he can go hard. So you know what his drink of choice was?
Oh no, Henny.
No.
Alcohol.
It was
liquor.
It was alcohol. His drink of choice because he ordered a bunch of sushi was sake.
No.
Yeah. Put it this way: by the time we got to the press conference, because we were on PlayStation, a party watching this together. And Fresh, we should have you join in next time. He was snoring in my ear.
Oh my god.
And I'll there was a time where I didn't have Charles around for a while, but then you'll know why. So I called him the next day at around 2, and he goes, "Tell me everything that happened last night."
Oh my.
I go, "Charles, how'd you wake up?" He goes, "I woke up with my undisputed heavyweight championship and a used condom."
Oh god. What a mood.
And I go, "Charles, when did you black out?" He goes, "Sometime around the Women's Rumble."
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really funny. So then I was like, all right, we're going to watch the Women's Rumble again so we can see the whole thing. And then I had to leave to go to a friend's house. But then he ended up, I was like, watch the whole Roman segment and then get back to me. He called me and he was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, you missed all of that.
The second watch of the Roman thing, like, I was like calming down at work while it was going on, so I like did get to watch it, but like I really got to like sit and watch it unfocused. Jaw was on the fucking floor the whole time.
It's very uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
It's a very uncomfortable watch. But it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that was my voyeur into the wrestling drinking games. It was really funny. I talked to the Queen the next day. She didn't even take off her makeup before she passed out.
Oh no.
I was like,
That's
am
a
I
shitty
the only one that
feeling.
survived? I woke up the next day and like tried yoga.
Ooh, did you like it?
I am not as flexible as I thought I once was.
Oh, I'm like not flexible like at all. Like, and now that like I have been so behind. Like I used to do yoga every day. Like I got into it during the pandemic, and then I like pretty much since I moved to Queens, I like have not gotten into the groove because my work schedule has been so fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Sorry, I'm doing it the weekends on like I'm just trying to do it on the weekends now. Should have made.
Okay.
Oh, hi Charles. How
like
you
that.
doing?
Hi, Charles.
Should have made you sign an NDA. Sorry.
I need to start doing like practices that are like good for folks that like work at home because like you'll see on the show all the time. I'm always like fucking there's so much tension in my neck and my shoulders. Like I'm in so much pain all the time.
Yeah, I found a YouTube video of like beginner yoga, so I tried. It was like a half-hour video that I
Watch
tried.
yoga. Look up yoga with Adrienne. She's great.
I did yoga with Cassandra, but yoga with Adrian was there too.
Yoga with Adrienne fucking slaps.
I did it and like I didn't realize it's my first time ever doing yoga. I didn't realize how much of a workout that really is. Because I'm like sweating
it's
halfway through, like, what the fuck is going on? But I will say, my hips were very loose after that. I was like, wow, this feels great.
Yeah, yoga's so good. Maybe I should do yoga after this. I decided I need food, but I also need to like move my body because I'm like
Need to be active. Well, I'll be around probably eating ramen and making and producing this show or editing the show actually.
I'm going to attempt something because this is high brain talking now. I think I'm gonna make pulled pork quesadillas.
Interesting.
Cause I got like the fucking Jack Daniel's pulled pork from the supermarket, and I had that for dinner last night. I still have some left over, but like, and I'm like, I have tortillas, I have taco cheese, I have like seasonings and like onions and peppers and shit. So I have corn. I'm like, I'm thinking I'm gonna try a quesadilla with pulled pork and see how it goes. I love quesadillas.
I do too. You know what's funny? Speaking of supermarkets and stuff, Kay, I am thinking of getting a BJ's membership.
Oh, I live 2 minutes, walking 2 minutes away from a Costco.
Yeah, they sent me like a thing like, oh, you can get a BJ's membership for a year for like $25, and I'm like, ooh, that's very tempting.
Yeah, when they have the deals to get the memberships for cheaper, like do it.
That's what I'm gonna do because like I already get my Butcher Box delivery stuff, which I screwed up this month, but I'm getting another box sent to me.
My TikTok now gives me Butcher Block box ads all the time.
If you order it now, you get free wings for life. in every box. So
What?
yeah,
What do you mean free wings for
if
life?
you sign up for like a month to month like delivery of Butcher Box stuff, they will give you free wings in every box that you order for the lifetime that you have it.
Interesting.
I can send you a referral code and you use mine and help me get money off of my own subscription service. But that's the running promotion right now is free wings for life.
That's wild. I
But I want to do it so I can
I'm
like buy in bulk all the breakfast food that I want, and also, okay, eggs are fucking expensive, and I just want to stock.
the cheapest place I get them is Aldi.
And Aldi's expensive for it too. I just want to stockpile on eggs,
I
really,
know.
because I ran out of breakfast food, and I'm just like, fuck. Like, this is bad.
I almost always keep on hand Cheerios, oatmeal.
Well, I had a
So I
family
had, like, a
sized. I had
breakfast.
family sized Cheerios for like a month and a half, 2 months, and now it's gone.
I love Cheerios. I've been like addicted to Cheerios my whole life. But I recently got into the Belvita breakfast bars
Interesting.
because and this is like my 1,000% my ADHD. I'm really good at forgetting to eat. So I often will go from 0 to I am hungry and I have no energy to cook anything.
Yeah, I've been trying to not
So
do
I
that.
it's like really hard for me. So like I'm trying to keep more food in like that's like easily accessible that I could like have super quickly on hand. So like I got that fucking pulled pork because I wanted to try a different protein because like I eat chicken a fucking lot. I love chicken, but I'm like I need a break.
What about fish?
I do eat fish. I have to like really learn how to like prepare fish because I've never like cooked fish before.
It's really quick. If you get an air fryer, it cooks in 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I just show you the air fried fish that I made.
Yeah, show
mean,
me. I do need an air.
It's going to be in like a container. It's all frozen up, but I air fried fish, I think Monday night.
Ooh.
Took like, because like I'm pretty much, it's fish for lunch because it's a low calorie, and then like like chicken and vegetables for dinner.
Okay.
So
Like
it's pretty good.
I often like I'll like my lunch options. I always like keep like salad stuff around, like grilled cheese stuff around. I always like soup around. Like, cause I'm like fucking lazy.
Yeah, eat more protein. Actually, that'll make you protein and like fiber.
I definitely do need to eat more protein, like in general.
Yeah, protein and fiber, that'll get you more energy that lasts. So like whenever I get breakfast, I make sure it's like protein something before.
Like I'm exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
And like now that I work nights, like while like getting out of work at 1:30 in the morning when I work from home is not as bad as if I worked out until 1:30 out of my house and then I had to like travel home. And like if I'm lucky, I'm in bed like asleep by like 2:30, which for getting out of work for me is not that bad.
Yeah.
And like I can wake up if I'm lucky by like 10:30. So I still have like a whole day. So I feel like now will finally be easier for me to like cook more and like meal plan and prep and stuff.
True.
Because I was just like struggling with my schedule and like having the energy to make food. So it's just like a cycle.
Yeah, once you get a routine, you'll figure it out. I wish I can. If I find like a cheap air fryer for you, I will send it your way. Be like, buy this.
Oh my god,
now.
like send me the link.
Because
Yeah.
it makes my cooking so much easier now. I literally stockpile because I have a giant 8-quart one. So I dropped like almost 20 chicken legs in there on like Monday night. It cooked in like less than a half hour.
That's wild.
I did 2 different seasonings on them too. They cooked it all.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I also have, and I like do not utilize. I've still used it like once, but I should use it more. I have an Instant Pot that I really should use more.
Yeah. Why not? Do it.
I always like forget I have these things where like cooking for me, like I know when I get into cooking, like it's not that bad, it's not hard, but like the idea of it feels so overwhelming.
It is, but for me, I don't know. I've found cooking, especially if I like essentially meal prep where like I cook for like a week in a day, it's somewhat therapeutic for me. I don't know why. Like it's calming.
That's the thing. When I get into cooking, it's very relaxing for me, but it's the motivation of getting cooking is like impossible for me.
Yeah, that's why I only do it like once, once a week.
Yeah, I need to no, like what I was doing on my old schedule is when Wednesday, Thursday was my weekend, Thursday was my meal prep day, but now Wednesday is my Sunday, and Wednesday is just not a good day for me to meal prep. Well, now that I'm not here as much, maybe Wednesday can like be a meal prep kind of day.
Maybe you can listen to us on the low. You can just like chime into the
Yeah.
the chat.
I'm definitely planning on like popping in the chat more like while I'm like doing other stuff.
Yeah, might as well. And yes, Mr. Frets, I did see Travis Kelce's trash talk on the mayor of AFC. It was really funny. So, okay, before we go, I'll tell you this story, and I think you'll love it.
Let's hear it.
So football was the AFC Championship was last week or last Sunday,
I know.
and the Chiefs won. And so there's this player called Travis Kelce.
I know who they are. They're brothers.
Okay, so they were facing the Bengals of Cincinnati, and the mayor of Cincinnati wanted to made a joke or tweeted out a joke saying that he wanted to give Patrick Mahomes a paternity test to see if Joe Burrow was his father.
Oh my God.
You know, Joe Burrow being the quarterback of the Bengals. So the Bengals lose the game. So the Bengals lose the game, and Travis Kelce gets on the microphone and says, he goes to the mayor of Cincinnati, "Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni."
Oh my God.
It was great. It was great. So, Kay, stay on, but we are going to get going, folks. I do need to tell Kay something in super secret private because I think they'll enjoy it. But we are going to get going now. Thank you guys for sticking for us for so long. And by the way, Mr. Frets, Eagles are winning the Super Bowl. Sorry to say.
I know. I don't want to talk about
Fly
it.
Eagles, fly, bitch. Sorry, I can't support the Chiefs, Frets. Anywho, folks.
I'm gonna like support. I'm supporting the Eagles specifically because like Dylan lives in Philly, so I'm being supportive. But every fucking time they say "Go Birds" to me, it like sends me into a rage.
Yeah, I trust me. I have friends who are born and raised in Philly, and I hate that. They say "Go Birds." I'm going Birds.
But they're not even an Eagles fan. They're a Jets fan. They're just fighting me.
Anyway, folks, we're gonna get out of here. Yeah, till next week.
Bye.
Midnight music.